Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Green Day and how to play a solo over 21 guns. So what's up? I'll show you how to create a fat mid-focus punk sound. I'll show you how to stack gain and get this sort of mid-range focus for your solo, how to use reverb, and how to approach soloing. So let's start. Green Day is a very popular band, of course. And I played it a lot in my early days of guitar because I used it for playing power chords and practicing simple solos because it's awesome. Well, for today I chose 21 Guns because it's a nice chord progression. So what chords do they use? Well, let me show you. So the chords used are pretty simple. They use an F, C, D minor, C again, A sharp, F, C. You repeat that cycle 2 times, then go back to A sharp, F, and C. And of course you can also play this in power chords, especially the F if you don't like playing the F chord the full way in the chord. What can you do, for example, with power chords? Well, you can play it like this. You can play the C, D, C, A sharp, F, C again, and then A sharp, F, C. So, fairly simple, right? And now, how did I think of my solo? Well, of course you can first listen to it in the link down below, but I'll show it here anyway, because I created a short for this. Let me hear along with you guys. So what becomes very clear when you listen to it first, well, you hear a lot of gain, lots of power chords, and a fat solo sound. So let me first explain to you what I did with the solo, because when you play solo you can always visualize the chords laying on the fretboard. So to visualize everything you can think, here you got an F. And I started here because it played an F. So because here we had the D minor, at the C, then we go to an A sharp, to an F, and on back to C again. And it basically repeats the whole time. So if you visualize everything, you can think, well, there's an F here. You can think, well, let's combine it with the C. Then you have sort of arpeggio. You can think, well, now I want to go to the D. So then you want to go to the C again. And to the A sharp. And then to the F. To a C, and just try everything out and think of where you can find an F chord, where you can find a C, a D minor, A sharp, and try everything out for yourself. So let's talk about sound now, because how did I get it? Well, let me show you. I'll let you hear the Ryra. That's a clone, centaur clone, which is awesome, by the way. And you can hear it together with a tube screamer, but that's the GHS Bonsai, TS9 to be precise, because Bonsai's got all those different kinds of tube screamers. So how does it work stacking gain? You have different kind of overdrives. Some are a bit more mid-focus, so then you think of tube screamers, and maybe Sweet Honey Overdrive, the Clan. It's all a bit back in the 60s. And of course you can also have things like a OSD, which is pretty sharp. Let me show you. And if you compared it to, for example, a tube screamer, you can definitely see that there is quite a difference in the tone. And if you stack them on each other, you get different sounds. Because first of all, the last pedal in your chain, so the one that's closer to your amplifier, it's got the most distinctive effect on your tone. And the one that you have before there, it pushes that overdrive. So if you have something that's mid-focused, but you want maybe a little bit extra mid even, then you can put a mid-focused overdrive behind it and maybe up the volume a bit, so it pushes the signal. And that way you get even more mid, and also if you push up the gain a bit, then you also push that other one before there. So a lot of your signal then gets compressed. That means that you've got a lot of sustain, which is very desirable in soloing. Now let's see here in Logic what I added to it. So let's put the guitar aside for a moment. So we're in Logic now, and let me show you how my setup here works. I got an East Bay Logic drummer, and I played in some of the power chords here, which I bend side to side. That way you get a much more fuller tone. And I played around a couple times just to get some inspiration, took this take. And here, let's see what I did on the track. Well, you can see it here, you can see it here. So I added a little bit of EQ. Let me show you how it sounds with and without. So you can see that I boosted the mid frequency a bit, and I also boosted a little bit of the 4K. It made it cut through the mix a little bit more. And if you look here, I got a compressor. So what does that do here? We already had a little bit of compression. Now we also have more compression. So now the dynamics get pushed down even more. And you get a lot of sustain, you get a fatter tone. It's all in there. And to create some reverb here, I also added some to a bus here. So you got here the chroma reverb, and here you see that everything is sent to bus 5. So you can make bus, for example, if you go here at the sense channel and then select bus 5 here. If you want another one, you can select bus 6. It creates a new track here. You can drag all your effects in there. So what this bus does, you can send all your signal there. It creates one sort of chamber for your reverb. And that's nice because then you can control, well, I do want the reverb for every bit of it, but I want a little bit less for this one here, a little bit less for here. And this way you don't have to copy everything into detail. So here you can see it's a concert hall. Sounds very awesome. And let's see if I deselect this. So it's quite subtle. Got a lot of gain, otherwise it gets very mushy. For example, if you have the low end there with the power chords and a lot of gain, it just washes down the whole mix, and you get everything blurry then. So just try to keep it a little bit lower. So in short, if you want fat tone, stack your gain, create a lot of compression, maybe change what you want, experiment with certain types of gain that you have, and experiment with the level of gain. See what happens if you push it a little bit more. Listen, that's the most important part of it. And also, if you want, for example, a bit of sharpness in your tone, just use the bridge pickup. Less aggressive, then use the neck pickup, which you can, for example, see in my other video with ELO, Mr. Blue Sky. And that's also a very nice one. I'll link it here after the video. So that's it. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you learned a lot. And if you have tips for others, you can leave it down in the chat below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you at my next video. Okay, bye.